Hey y'all, I'm back in Dallas, Texas, and I wanted to make a video to, I don't want to say brag, but at least show you guys how I booked a crazy first class fare from Houston to Japan for an unbelievably low amount of money. Just $260 out of pocket for a ticket that retails at $22,000. I'm going to show you step by step. This is not an amateur level redemption, but with this video, I show you every step of the way on how to do a somewhat complicated redemption that gets you insane value for your miles and points. And like I said, a first class ticket that would usually retail for $22,000. I got to apologize because I fucked up the video a little bit. I made this whole screencast and then I lost it. The file got corrupted and I screwed it up. So I reproduced it as best I could. I'll still show you all the steps, but in the new screencast video, the dates aren't going to line up with what I described. So it's not going to be exactly the same, but the meat of the video is in there. So watch it, enjoy it. I hope this helps you make some kick-ass redemptions of your own. Make sure to like the channel, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell so you find out about other content we put up here. Peace, bitches, travel punks. This could go off the rails. This is where it could all come apart. But you know what? I'm glad we had this time together anyway. So let's dig in. And I'm recording. What's up, everyone? It's Paul, and I'm excited today because I am about to make a fucking premium booking, the kind of shit that people in the frequent flyer mile hobbies live for. I'm a little excited, I'm a little nervous because it might not work. This is not an exact science, and this whole video could be for nothing. But if it does work, I will have booked a $21,000 itinerary in first class from Texas to Japan for less than $1,600 worth of points that I didn't even have to pay for, so nothing out of pocket there, and a couple of $100 out of pocket. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but if it does work, then this is going to be a really good in-field example of how people who could not otherwise afford these crazy first class redemptions or these crazy first class fares get it through creative use of points and miles. So, to give a little background on this, this is made possible because of a transferable points currency issued by a credit card bank that we talk about a lot in other videos. It's called American Express Membership Rewards. You might have heard us talk about it when you have an American Express card like the Gold or Platinum Business or Personal cards, the Everyday Preferred card, or the Blue Business Plus card. You earn this thing called Membership Rewards. It's a branded currency issued by American Express. If you redeem them through the Amex travel portal, they're only worth a penny a point, 1 cent per point. Now, it's better than a punch in the balls, but from an earning perspective, it's not that good of a redemption rate, even though you can earn these points really fast with the Gold and Platinum and the Everyday Preferred and the Blue Business cards. You just want to be doing better than a penny a point. And the way you do that, if you don't have the Platinum card, which makes them worth a little bit more intrinsically, but if you don't have the Platinum card, what you can do is transfer these points to travel partners. You can transfer American Express Membership Rewards points one-to-one to a bunch of different frequent flyer programs by Delta, KLM, Air France, British Airways, Etihad, Singapore Air. You can transfer these membership rewards points one-to-one to these programs. And in a lot of cases, you can get at least a penny and a half or even more, as I'm going to attempt to do today. One of the transfer partners for American Express Membership Rewards is Virgin Atlantic. The Frequent Flyer Mile Club is called Flying Club. It's one of Richard Branson's airlines, and it doesn't get a whole lot of attention. But the reason I'm looking at it today is because right now, through the month of June, for this quarter, there is a bonus being offered by American Express for transferring their points to Virgin Atlantic Flying Club specifically. It's a big bonus. It's 30%. If you're watching this before June 2019, or July 2019 rather, you can take advantage of it yourself. By 30%, I mean for every 1,000 membership rewards points you transfer to Virgin Atlantic, you get 1,300 Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles. So, Virgin Atlantic Flying Club is not a marquee frequent flyer mile program. It's not anyone's favorite unless you fly Virgin Atlantic all the time. It's not really valuable to redeem Virgin Atlantic miles, even on Virgin Atlantic flights. They're based out of London, and as many people know who try to redeem awards to London, a lot of the London-based airlines like British Airways and Virgin Atlantic pass on huge carrier-imposed fuel surcharges. You might be getting free airfare, but in taxes and surcharges, you're paying $600 to over $1,000 out of pocket. Fine if you're doing some uses for it, but generally not a good deal. What makes these miles a good deal is if you redeem them for partners. Remember, airlines have alliances and partnerships. Virgin Atlantic isn't a member of one of the big three alliances, SkyTeam, Star, or OneWorld, but sort of like Alaska Airlines, they have partnerships that allow you to redeem their miles with these other airlines. In fact, I think one of the Virgin brands and Alaska were considering a merger recently, but it fell apart, so that didn't happen, but there's some similarities there. One of the partners you can redeem Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles on is All Nippon Airways, or ANA for short. This is one of the flagship carriers out of Japan. All Nippon, JAL, Japan Airlines, these are like the United and the American of Japan. Now, because they're not a member of a big alliance, Virgin Atlantic has different award charts for each airline, and ANA happens to have ridiculous award prices on miles for trips round trip from the United States to Japan. This is only good for round trip redemption, so if you're looking for a one-way redemption, this isn't for you. But let's take a look at one of their award charts right now. I'm in central USA. Central and eastern USA is down here at the bottom. I'm in Texas. And for economy class, you're looking at 65,000 Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles round trip from central or eastern US to Japan. Business class, 95,000 miles, and first class, 120,000 miles. You're gonna see how this compares as I work my way through this example. Spoiler alert, it's gonna compare really fucking well. But it compares even better when you consider that 30% transfer bonus. Now, the way you do the math on this is you take these rates and you divide them by 130%. It's a 30% bonus, so by dividing by 130%, or 1.3, we'll see how many Amex membership rewards points we need to transfer to get that many Virgin Atlantic Flying Club miles with the 300 extra miles you get for each 1,000-point transfer. You have to transfer in denominations of 1,000 miles. So jump into the calculator, doing the math. For an economy ticket, dividing 65,000 by 1.3, we would only need to transfer 50,000 membership rewards points, which if you value them at 1.7 points, which is pretty 1.7 cents, which is common, is only $850 out of pocket. For the first class redemption at 120,000 miles, we divide that by 130%, or 1.3, under 92,000 miles, or if we multiply it by, that's a big decimal point, I know, but if we multiply it by 1.7 cents, $1,570 is what those miles would be worth, or those points would be worth. But remember, I didn't spend any money to get them. I got them as sign-up bonuses and as bonuses for spend. For example, on my Everyday Preferred card, I get 4.5 miles or 4.5 membership rewards points for every dollar I spend at grocery stores. That's much better than 1 point per dollar, which is what most credit cards offer. So I've been earning these things fast. I have a pretty big balance, as you're going to see. So considering whether I want to do first class or economy class, that's really cheap in terms of points for how easy it is to get to Japan. But the thing about ANA first class is that it's considered one of the best in the industry. It's got separate suites, amazing food and beverage service all throughout the flight. It's something like a 13-hour flight from Texas to Japan. There's a direct flight that ANA operates out of Houston. And it's got a lie flat bed, so for a relatively short trip, which is what this is going to have to be, I'm going to get a good night's sleep on the plane, or at least a couple of hours of sleep, and I'm not going to arrive destroyed into Japan and waste a whole day catching up from jet lag. I don't sleep well in economy seats at all, whereas the long-haul first-class flights, in this case on a Boeing 777, typically business class as well, they're equipped with seats that lie flat, and and they provide bedding and pajamas and amenities to give you a reasonable night's sleep in the air. It's honestly insane and ridiculous and terrible how much better long-haul first class is compared to cattle class economy. It's just a whole different world. So usually, as you'll see, it's out of the realm of affordability for most average people, but you're going to see how this gets a lot more affordable as I continue on with this process. In fact, let me just show you a peek behind the curtain. I've researched a little bit in advance what dates I want. They're going to be in November of 2019, and just for shits and giggles, I looked on ANA's website. I called it Anna. I tend to want to call it Anna, but it's ANA. I looked at ANA's website to see what it costs to purchase a first class seat on the exact itinerary I'm going to book, or a similar itinerary I'm going to book. I'm going to fly out of Austin because there's no difference in award redemption, and that's where I live, but I priced out the award from Houston. Take a look at this shit. $21,953.82. Just shy of $22,000. I'm gonna get this for a couple $100 and less than $1,600 worth of points. Can we agree that that's a fucking good deal? I might want to save a little points so I have a few more points to use on future trips by flying economy, but here's the thing. For a short trip in Japan, economy is just going to knock me out in both directions. I'm going to be useless for the next day afterwards, and I'm getting older and I can't deal with sleep deprivation as well. And for the food and beverage service and just for the experience, it's worth less than double the points. Remember, it's a difference of 50,000 points and under 93,000 points. Plus, I have a shit ton of membership rewards points, and I keep on earning them faster than I can spend them. Consistently doing big redemptions like this might burn through them a little bit faster, but I still have credit cards I can apply for that will bolster my point balance. And honestly, these points are made for spending, and when else am I going to get a chance to fly ANA first class with champagne and sake and fresh sushi served by the most attentive flight attendants the world has ever seen? So that's some of the value you can get from this hobby, to just give you an idea of what's possible. You're going to see, though, that it takes a little bit of extra rigmarole to get this ticket. The thing is that because it's not a Star Alliance member, you can't book You can't book ANA flights on the Virgin Atlantic website. It's just not something you can do. You actually have to call to reserve the award space. However, you can at least get a pretty good idea if the award space is available by searching other Star Alliance partners' award availability. ANA is a Star Alliance member like United and Air Canada, and so by using their very easy to use websites, I can find out if first class award availability is available. I can also have a little peek behind the curtain to see what other airlines are charging for the same award flight. And then I understand that Virgin Atlantic should have access to the same award availability. Now, if I'm wrong about that, or if there's some special rate that I'm looking at through the United website, this could go off the rails. This is where it could all come apart. This is where I could call Virgin Atlantic and find out, oh no, sorry, we don't have first class availability for that itinerary, and then I'm back to square one. But you know what? I'm glad we had this time together anyway, so let's dig in. I'm on the United website. I'm gonna log out, and here's why. I have a United credit card which gives me access to special award availability, and I don't want to see that. I just want to see what's available in the general pool of United award flights for ANA, All Nippon Airways, from Texas to Japan, and assume that that's the best chance that there's going to be availability through Virgin Atlantic for the same award space. I also don't want to talk too fucking much because someone else could book this. Everyone knows about this award space in the hobby. Not everyone's looking at this same week, but if someone else is, then I could be shit out of luck. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to click book with miles. I'm using United. You could also use ANA. You could use Air Canada, but I'm using United because I'm very familiar with it. It's got a really user-friendly website. Austin, Texas to Tokyo Narita, NRT. There it is. I've looked in advance. It took some detective work. I was first looking at October, but there wasn't flights that looked good in October for a round trip. So I looked at November. It's going to be a little colder, but it's also peak season for fall colors in Japan, so it should be gorgeous. I have friends in Japan that I can visit and stay with, and I'm looking forward to checking out the food and the culture and the dance scene and Roppongi district. Those are the kinds of things I love to travel for. It's going to be a relatively short trip, though, because only about a week is what I feel comfortable taking out of the United States due to other responsibilities, which is another reason why first class is a good idea, because I don't really have a day to burn getting over jet lag. So the itinerary I'm going to search for, honestly, this is not ideal, but I should be able to change up this award flight if I just have severe buyer's remorse. November 11th to November 18th. I'm gonna select first class, like a fucking boss. Find flights. All right, it's asking me to log into my Mileage Plus account. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to X out of it because, again, I want to see the general award availability, not any special perks for Mileage Plus members like me. All right, here we are. This lists some of the lowest prices. We're not really going to look at that. As you can see, as you scroll down, you see who operates these flights. Includes travel operated by SkyWest, doing business as United Express, so that's United Express. This is going to be pretty far down that I find this. Show all award flights. I want to see that. And you see I'm looking at economy, business, first class. All right, here's something interesting. As you can see, both this one and this one, I'm going to look at this one, includes travel operated by All Nippon Airways. This is what we're looking for. Now, as we can see, there's a Saver award price and a first class award price, but this is if you redeem United Mileage Plus miles for this same itinerary. We're gonna eventually end up reserving this for Virgin Atlantic, with Virgin Atlantic miles, but I want you to take a look at this. This 110K miles with $11 in fees, that's for one way. So I was telling you that I'm going to use 93,000 membership rewards points, less than 93,000 membership rewards points, round trip. This is asking me for 110,000 mileage plus miles for one way. We're starting to see how this is a good deal even by award redemption value, and it's an insane deal if we consider that it was $22,000 or more to reserve this same seat. All right, so that's my outbound flight. I looked at this before and I'm not thrilled about it because it involves an overnight in Houston. It's a morning flight that operates from IAH to NRT, but it's the same rate to fly out of Austin. See, that's one of the weird things about award flights. It's some airlines like British Airways and Southwest charge per segment, so more connections will be more expensive. But a lot of airlines, including Delta, United, and American, and ANA and Virgin Atlantic, charge by region. So it costs me the same to fly out of Austin as it would to Houston, even though Houston is the hub city with the direct flight. It gets weird, but I might as well take the flight instead of reserving a bus or an extra flight because I'm gonna have to spend the night in Houston anyways. It's a little annoying. I'm going to lose a day from the international date line, but maybe I'll gain it back on the other side. All right, here is the inbound flight. Again, I need to show all flights. You're seeing higher taxes, $50 instead of $11. That just comes with the territory. All right, here we go. All Nippon Airways, 10:50 a.m. That looks like it's my only option for outbound, but again, 110,000 mileage plus miles plus $60 in fees. That's for just the inbound flight. And remember, I'm looking at 93,000 points for the whole fucking thing, the whole shebang, round trip. And it's only good for round trip, remember. You can't do one way on these redemptions. But what time do I want to get back to the United States? Let's try to get back. I'm gonna do this one that gets back around 9 p.m. I'm gonna probably have a long wait or a long layover in Houston for this itinerary. So what is good about that is that I'm going to have lounge access because of my first class ticket, and I can get a day's work done in a lounge plus free booze and food, and that's always cool. perks of first class, man. It's crazy. And if I feel like I want one of these others, I can always call tomorrow and be like, I changed my mind. I wanted to do a thing. You know, I'm doing this a little fast because of the video. This time I have to sign in. I don't actually have to, but the thing about it is this is going to let me review the itinerary and have it on the screen in front of me when I call the Virgin Atlantic flight agents and booking agents. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to need to call Virgin Atlantic and say, hey, I'm interested in award space on these specific flights. I've got them in front of me. Do you have access to award space? Now, I don't actually have 93,000 miles in my Virgin Atlantic account, but what they should be able to do is hold the award space for 24 hours, and then I can do the American Express membership rewards transfer, which happens instantly, call them right back and say, hey, magic, the miles are in my account now, so can we do that booking I put on a 24-hour hold? If this sounds convoluted, don't worry, watch this fucking video as many times as you want. There's also written guides, and you'll get the hang of doing this yourself. This is not beginner stuff. It took me a while, honestly. I didn't even see the value in these products before I started flying them. I just wanted to preserve my miles so that I could travel for free forever. The thing is that I had barely scratched the surface in my ability to earn miles and points, so there's really a feeling of abundance around these miles and points that is making me feel comfortable booking these ultra luxury first class products. Plus I want to take a bunch of pictures and do reviews and send them to you guys. All right, so now I've got the phone number for Virgin Atlantic, and here's where shit starts to get real. I'm gonna be doing a lot of cutting. I was trying to enter my Virgin Atlantic flying club number, but I think it dumped me to hold. Virgin Atlantic has a reputation for having some of the coolest, easiest to work with phone agents in the business. Yes, hi. I was interested in redeeming a round-trip first-class ticket on Flying Club miles between Texas and Tokyo Narita for November. Is that something you can help me with? Yes, but I'm flying out of Austin, if possible. I know that there's probably going to be an overnight layover, but I can probably deal with that. My name is Paul. All right, yeah, I can deal with that. The dates I'm probably looking at are November 12th to November 18th for departure and return. A lot of the itineraries I was seeing were for the morning. First class, please. All right, you got to request a seat from ANA? Okay, cool. Never. I have friends there, and I want to check out the food and the dance scene. I'm a dancer, and I have some dancing friends over there and just some people who like to kick it. It's, you know, a place that I've always wanted to visit. It's kind of fluctuated. It's kind of fluctuated on my bucket list, but I'm kind of looking into it now because I feel like I could get a pretty good deal on a flight this way. Yeah, I can do that fairly quickly. Oh, you want me to do it right now? I'll give it a try. Yeah, I'm transferring them from American Express. So we've got that itinerary. Do you happen to know what my total cash out of pocket is for that itinerary? $266.33. Got it. All right, cool. Hold on, I'm going through the process. I'm looking at American Express membership rewards, transfer points, Virgin Atlantic Flying Club. All right, my account is linked already. Please enter a value. All right, the transfer is done. Do you see it? It's supposed to be instantaneous, but if it was already there, that would be impressive. Okay. Well, we can hang on for a second, or I don't know if you can hold the itinerary, and I call you back if there's a direct callback number. Okay, we don't have a, is it not going to refresh fairly soon? Is it not worth hanging on longer, I guess? I know I'm doing a thing, but yeah. Huh, bummer. That's okay. Sure. I'm sorry, can you start over? Got it. Got it. All right, when do you think I should call back about this? So, same time tomorrow? Am I likely to lose the booking if I wait that long? Okay. Yeah, I can try a bit earlier. Yeah, I've never had an Amex transfer take more than 24 hours, but all right, I've got this reference number. All right, cool. All right, well then I'll call you back sometime tomorrow. Gotcha, okay. All right, bye-bye. Okay, so that went pretty well. I got the itinerary. The fees were $260 and change. And the points are transferred. The guy wanted me to do the points transfer while I was on the phone with him. He wanted me to hold the line and see if the points transfers happened immediately. They should happen pretty quickly, but he guessed that this is my first time transferring to Flying Club, and it's true, there aren't a whole lot of uses for Virgin Atlantic Flying Club. This is my first time using one of their sweet spot redemptions, where just for some reason, round-trip flights on ANA in economy or even first class are just ridiculously good value. But so what he does is put it on a 24-hour hold. He also needed to go through the process of requesting the space from ANA because they're not a Star Alliance partner. He had to do a specific request to reserve it. And at that point, he made small talk about what kind of dancing I do. It was a very pleasant conversation. But my seat is reserved for 24 hours. I checked on Seat Guru, and pretty much every ANA 787 Boeing first class long haul seat is the same. There's no reason to favor one or over the other. They're all window seats, I think. I don't remember, but it's not like one of them is shorter than the other because it's close to the bulkhead or the back of the cabin. But my spot is reserved for 24 hours, which should be more than enough time for the points to transfer. And I have a confirmation number, so I can call the same number and say, hey, here's my confirmation number. I have a 24-hour hold on this reservation, so let's do my booking. Have my points transferred yet? And I have confidence that they will because I've never had an issue with American Express membership awards transfer, so I think this is fucking happening. One thing I forgot to do, I'm going to crunch some numbers and see how much value I got for my redemption that I just did or that I'm about to do. I'm going to kind of use rough numbers just because I don't feel like working that hard, but I got my, oh, shit, that's a picture. Never mind. All right, hold on. Okay, here's my calculator. Here's my real calculator. That was a screenshot. But, so I told you that if you have an ultra premium card, you can usually redeem these points for anywhere from 1.3 cents to 1.5 cents per point. But if you do premium redemptions, and if you don't want to consider the opportunity cost for the fact that you could have gotten from point A to point B cheaper in points by redeeming economy, you can look at the cash value of the seat you just booked and be like, how much were my points worth in this circumstance? So forgetting opportunity costs, we're just going to look at what I got dollar for dollar by doing this redemption. So, now there's math. Per point, money per point means money on top in the numerator, points on the bottom in denominator. So this was a $22,000 plane ticket. I'm going to divide that by the number of points I used to book, approximately 93,000. As you can see, that is just under 23 cents, or just under 24 cents per point. I told you that a lot of these points are valued at 1.7 cents per point. I just got almost 24 cents per point, 24.7 cents per point. So if you look at how much I earned at the grocery store for my Amex membership rewards, where I get 4.5 points per dollar spent at the grocery store, for 4.5 membership rewards points times 23 cents, I'm doing this wrong, 4.5 membership rewards points times 0.23 cents, I'll round down just for fun. I got $1.03 back for every dollar I spent at the grocery store. That's over 100% return on my spending. Now, no one actually needs a first class flight to Japan, but if I'm taking into account the fact that you would have to have $22,000 burning a hole in your pocket or $22,000 worth of reasons to get to Japan and back in order to get this ticket, I think I'm feeling pretty good about this redemption. Another wrinkle that came up on the phone is that Virgin Atlantic doesn't book flights from Austin to Houston. So I'm on my own to get to and from Houston. But honestly, this could be a benefit because I could gain an extra day. I could get up early in the morning, drive to Houston, long-term park for a week. It probably won't be that expensive, and take my first class flight, get back from my first class flight back, and then drive back from Houston to Austin without a long layover in either direction. So I'm actually gaining a day by doing it that way. I could book a Southwest flight or try and get a megabus. Maybe I will. At this far in advance, I could probably get megabuses for $1 a piece, or with $2.50 and with $1.50 in booking charges. So $2.50 to get one way from Austin to Houston. Pretty fucking good deal, but I may just drive so that I have the extra day, because even if I'm booking a megabus, I'll need to do an overnight layover in both directions because these are morning flights. But yeah, that was something that kind of came up unexpectedly, and that's one of the reasons why it pays to be flexible when you're attempting to book badass deals with points using the knowledge you've gained from the motherfucking hobby. Yeah, I'm going to Japan in November, and I'm flying ANA first class, motherfuckers. Hobby for life, yo. I'm not hip hop, I'm sorry, I'll stop.